People tell Georgine all the time, you need to write a book. And after hearing just a few minutes of her story, I bet you'll understand why.
I did a short story for the church I used to go to, and I titled it He. And the reason I did that is because he's the one who created me.
Georgine's faith didn't start in adulthood. It actually started as a child, praying night after night with her grandmother, long before she understood what life would demand of her.
I ran to my bed and I had to get on my knees. And my grandmother was right next to me on the knees and taught me how to pray.
But don't get it twisted. Georgine has stories.
So I'd head to the school, pick up all my girlfriends, pile them in, and off to the beach we'd go. And then I'd be laying there and I'd look up and say, why is it getting cloudy? There's my dad standing over me.
As an adult, Georgine faced moments where prayer wasn't optional, it was survival.
The day he went to work, we drove down, I got my stuff out of the house, moved to my townhouse, left him a note.
Now at 76 years old, Georgine speaks with the kind of clarity that only comes from living through it.
I don't look at myself as an old person. I work out. I have to do things to keep me mentally young.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I had the opportunity to live 76 years already.
And just when you think you understand her heart, Georgine casually tells a story that's unbelievable until you realize that she actually lived it.
I jumped in my car, I went down there, and we walked through the woods. We startled her, but he was so nice, and he said, I bet you're hungry, aren't you? And she said, yes, sir.
Georgine's story will make you laugh, pause, and rethink what it really means to keep living with faith and intention. And the way all of this connects, well, that's something you'll want to hear unfold for yourself.
I wanted to ask you, so we've been here for an hour kind of chit-chatting, and you were talking to my mom, and you mentioned something about your friend saying you should write a book. I wanted to start out and just come out and ask you, what's the title of the book? What's the premise of the book? What are the chapters going to be about? Why do your friends want it so bad?
I've had a very interesting life.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I go by the Bible, and I go by what Jesus did at the well, the 3 C's. I feel as though he brought me into this world, and he chose me, and every single day he challenges me, and I've had a lot of challenges in my life.
Yeah.
And he's created me to be the person I am today.
Right.
I have done things all my life because of him. Just like taking the homeless lady that I looked for off the streets for 2 weeks, putting her in one of our townhouses. But needless to say, the title of my book, actually, I have started to write it.
Really? I thought it was just like a thing.
I did a short story for the church I used to go to, and I titled it He. And the reason I did that is because he's the one who created me. And from the time I was born, I was raised in a home with 7 adults. I'm an only child. I'm an only grandchild. I'm an only niece.
Whoa.
It's me, period.
Yeah.
And people say, were you spoiled? I said, no.
I was just about to ask you that.
I don't think I was spoiled.
Well, no one admits that they were ever.
To be raised by 7 adults,
Right.
40s and 50s,
Okay.
after my dad got a World War II. But when I came home every day from school in Pennsylvania, my grandmother was there, handed me my apron, and I was in the kitchen helping her prepare the meals, sit-down meal every single night.
Yeah.
And I still do that today.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, they pretty much integrated you into the flow of the household. So it was your grandma and I assume your aunts and uncles?
Yes.
Okay.
It was my mother, my father, my mother's mother and father, the grandparents, and then my mother's sister and her husband, and they did not have any children because life revolved around Georgine.
Yeah.
And then we had Uncle George in the attic, who was an alcoholic.
Okay.
Okay. And to get to the attic, which was my grandmother's brother, at night they had to come in my room to go up into the attic. And I'd see my grandmother in this apron. And what was she carrying? A quart bottle of beer to take up there to him.
Really?
Yeah. So I guess I got the name from him, George to Georgine, even though my mother hated him.
Oh.
But it was an interesting life. Yeah. And then my grandparents moved down to Fort Lauderdale in 1955. And then 4 years later, my mom, dad, and I moved down to Fort Lauderdale. And again, I wasn't spoiled. My grandfather took me out. I got to pick the house out. Brand new house.
You got to pick it out?
I got to pick it out. Okay. Just my grandfather and I. And he goes, now here's the deal. If you convince your mom and dad to move from Pennsylvania down here to us in this house, you get the master bedroom and my own bath.
Not spoiled.
And do you want to have a horse? Because I loved horseback riding.
Yeah.
Or do you want a swimming pool in the backyard? I chose a swimming pool. And so, yes, I was really never spoiled.
Yeah, of course not. How is it that all those memories are still so, like, vivid to you? The way you recall it, you make it seem like it was just yesterday that it was happening.
And my grandfather taught me how every week we'd go to the bank. And I'm a retired banker of 45 years.
Yeah, I think I do remember you saying you worked at the bank.
Worked for Bank of America, SunTrust, all the little banks, opened up a new bank in McDonough. Closed it down 10 years later when the FDIC came in. But let me tell you, I wouldn't have changed any of it.
Yeah.
I loved managing people. I loved taking a girl who was a nothing, and I guess that's people in general, and work her up the ladder where she eventually became a manager of the bank.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what you're ultimately most proud of in your career, or the people, the lives, I guess, that you've impacted along the way?
When I worked at Bank of America in Conyers, I managed 43 women. You know what it's like to even manage one woman?
Hey, listen, on record, it's been great for me.
43 women. There were days I'd go in my office, close the door, and tell them, I'll come back out at the end of next week.
Yeah.
Because I wanted no part of it. All of the crying and tears and feuding and, oh my gosh, women are horrible to manage. I hate to say that. I'd take a nail teller any day.
That's a hot take.
Yeah, any day.
Yeah.
But I had fun.
That's good.
I had fun.
So as you write this book, let's kind of start there.
Okay.
The name of it again?
He.
I guess the foundation of it is your relationship with God. Is that where you would start the book?
Yeah. Yeah.
I would want to know, like, what's most interesting to me, especially when people are, like, rooted in their faith, is how it helped you get through some of the more challenging things in life. Because now I'm 30, I just turned 33. I know I've got some ways to go, but I feel like I've been through some things now. And that's why we named the title of the show, Keep Living. It was a conversation that we always have with our dad. And anytime we find out something new that happened or something that just, like, blew our mind, my dad's always like, well, just keep living and
Exactly.
you'll see more. But how has, I guess, or maybe you could give me an example of how you've kind of leaned on that.
When I was a little girl in this house of 7 adults, my grandmother was a Catholic. Okay. Where I've told this to my children, grandchildren, where most kids at night, when you say it's time to go to bed, they run to their bedroom, they jump on the bed with all their stuffed animals. I had lots of them. Not me. I wasn't allowed to do that. I ran to my bed and I had to get on my knees. And my grandmother was right next to me on the knees and taught me how to pray.
Exactly.
So my
Every night?
Every night, still to this day. Because my grandmother taught me, you go ahead and ask him to bless your parents, grandparents, all these people. Then you can personalize it.
Yeah.
Because God becomes your best friend. So whether I was riding my bike 2 miles to school, I could be talking to my best friend. He was there by my side. Even to this day, all the things that have happened to me, I can feel him sitting right there next to me.
Yeah. Like physically, like.
Physically.
Yeah.
And, I had some tough times.
Yeah.
But I remember one time that was really, really bad, and I won't go into it, but he was right next to me. And actually, I thought I wanted to just die. Take me over the bridge, I'm done. But you know what? I felt his presence. It wasn't my time.
Yeah.
I mean, he brings us in, he takes us out.
Yeah.
But one thing my grandmother said, he will listen to your prayers, may not answer them today.
Yeah.
He could be down the road. And one particular incident, well, wasn't one time, I hated milk. Oh, I hated milk.
Cow's milk?
Yeah, cow's milk. Because up in Pennsylvania, back in the 50s, the milkman came every day. And he'd put your gallon of milk in the icebox. And it had all this cream on the top, and it was pasteurized. And I didn't like it. So one of my things I'd say in my prayers, dear God, would you please take all the milk from Pennsylvania and take it to those poor children in Africa who are starving to death? Because if you didn't eat your food, there's starving children in Africa who need the food. So I'd ask him to take this milk. And every day, the milkman would show back up with more milk. I'd say, why aren't you answering my prayers? That was one prayer he never answered.
Yeah. Because milk is continuing.
Because it still kept coming on. So then as I grew up as a teenager, and you look back and you say, oh my gosh, I was so bad back then. People would ask my dad, how come you only had one child? When I had Georgine, I knew I could not handle another Georgine. I didn't do anything wrong except skip school.
Except skip school. To do what?
Go to the beach. I was in Fort Lauderdale then.
That's not terrible.
It wasn't. I didn't think so until my dad would come over. He knew exactly what beach I was at, driving my mother's 1957 Ford convertible.
Okay.
So I'd head to the school, pick up all my girlfriends, pile them in, and off to the beach we'd go. And then I'd be laying there and I'd look up and say, why is it getting cloudy? There's my dad standing over me, pulling my hair off the beach, take me back to school. I'd get in trouble with the guidance counselor.
Yeah.
That's the worst I did.
This was high school? What year was that?
Mid-60s.
Interesting time in American history.
Well, if you ever been to Fort Lauderdale, one of the places
Especially Fort Lauderdale.
is the Elbow Room, which is still there. And they filmed the movie down there in, I want to say 63, 64, with Connie Francis. So when they filmed that, I skipped school that day because I wanted to be front and center of all these college kids. And that was excitement back then, So, but then as I grew up, I married my childhood sweetheart.
How old you guys were when you got married?
I was 21, he was 22.
And you guys were friends, I guess, all throughout childhood. Did you guys date?
Oh, yes.
You dated all throughout high school?
Oh, yes.
Oh, the breakups, naturally.
That kind of thing. And our parents were best friends. So, and he was an only child also.
So it was like arranged for this to happen.
Every Sunday was family day. And we'd all get together to play poker. That you always had to play poker back in those days. If I wasn't going steady with him, I was allowed to bring a boyfriend. Well, we used to wear the boys' ring, and that when you went steady.
Oh, really? Okay, so explain
And
that.
if you break up, I take the ring off and give it back to you.
Oh, really? You wore a ring on your finger, and that meant you were going steady.
And he would, if I had a boy with me, and he had a girl, he'd be kicking me under the table, and because he didn't like that guy, and so we'd break up, go back together. He went to a different high school than I did, and eventually he went off to the service and to college. He was an architect, and then we got married. So we were married 15 years, and then we got divorced. So
that's an interesting perspective.
Yeah. He ended up getting his general contractor's license and started to drink real bad. I thought if I knew he loved me, but I told him that I wanted a divorce unless he got help. And he didn't see that he had a problem. So unfortunately, I thought it would, bring him to his knees, but it did not. It made him worse. So I got divorced.
So during those 15 years, I'm wondering at what point did you realize it was probably headed for divorce?
Only probably 2 years before that.
Really? The other 13 was just
Oh,
like,
good.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. I
Sucks.
have a lot. He passed away 3 years ago.
Oh, wow.
But I have a lot of good memories.
That's good.
And yeah, there's a lot of bad memories, but God takes away those bad memories.
Yeah.
You will only remember the good things
That's interesting.
in everything in my life.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was married a second time, and he was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a bad, bad relationship. Married 6 years. And God really helped me through that.
Yeah. At what point did you realize you might have made a mistake marrying him?
Approximately 3 to 5 days after I married him.
3 to 5 days, Georgine. Yeah. Really?
Mm-hmm.
And then you stayed for 6 years.
Yep. Terrible things happen. I won't even go into that. But I had a friend. In fact, it's Earl, who I'm with now, his friend. He was my boss at the bank.
Okay.
And something happened, and he said to me, Georgine, take my advice. See, this guy was a lieutenant of the police department.
Mm-hmm.
Play the game.
Mm.
Play the game until you can get out.
Mm-hmm.
And I did, and that was good advice.
Yeah.
So I set myself up. I bought a townhouse that was in foreclosure myself without him knowing. I set it up with all my employees. We had a convoy of cars and trucks. The day he went to work, we drove down. I got my stuff out of the house, moved to my townhouse, left him a note.
Just like that. And
Just
that
like
was
that.
it.
That was it.
Good for you.
And it was tough. But you know what? That relationship, God was there every day.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I didn't just pray in bed. I was on my knees. Please get me out of this relationship. I had to get out of it.
Yeah. At some point, did it kind of feel like there was no end in sight?
Yeah, I did. I did. Many times. Until one night something happened, and all night long I prayed and I prayed and I prayed.
Mm-hmm.
And the next day is the day that I came home early, and God was sitting there right there.
Mm-hmm.
And I knew this was it.
Yeah.
And it was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so tough because when you're in the middle of experiencing something that's like difficult, it's hard to see like yourself on the other side of it. It's hard to imagine that life can be as beautiful as you think it would be. But then you have that faith, and then years go
You
by.
have to have the faith and trust in Him. And if you don't, you're not going to be happy. You're not going to be blessed.
Yeah.
And I truly am blessed. I have 2 beautiful kids. Not kids. My daughter is 51. My son is 54.
Yeah. They're not kids. Well, they're somebody's kids.
And I have 4 grandsons. And all of them super good looking, super smart, all of them. My daughter has 3 boys and my son has 1. And they're all grown now. But you know what? That is where my life is.
Right.
Well, the one turned 21 last week. And each one, the one that's 23, I paid for a trip. When he turned 21, he went on a hunting trip to Argentina.
Okay.
So I said to this one, now you turned 21. He now works for the Monroe County Sheriff's Department he's a deputy, and he's doing great. He loves his job.
That's good.
I said, so what would you like to do? You want to go on a cruise? You want to go to Vegas? No, Grandma, let's just go to the mountains. Let's get a cabin and just do fun things.
That's my kind of vibe.
And I said, boy, I'm getting way cheap on this one. Let's go.
You're right.
So I did, and we're going next week.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So he just turned 21.
Yes.
Okay.
July 14th. Yep.
Grandkids.
Yeah.
Was that like when you first became a grandma? Was that like I don't know, in my mind, and maybe other people have this experience too, where you kind of separate life in chapters. So I kind of remember when I was a child, then my teenage years, and young adult years, and I imagine eventually, having grandparents or grandchildren, did that meet your expectations of like, oh,
Oh,
finally a
yes.
grandma?
Not only that, what's funny about this is I always said I wanted to have a girl,
Mm-hmm. Oh,
a
yeah.
granddaughter. I don't have any granddaughters.
Yeah.
But you want to know something? I wouldn't change anything
Really?
for these grandsons.
Yeah.
They're fun. They loved coming up here, hunting in our backyard, fishing over on the lake.
Yeah.
They don't care what they look like. They don't need no frilly dresses on and that kind of stuff. It's like, oh, let's go golfing, or it's great. Just look at your mom and dad with 6 boys.
Exactly. Yeah.
You have fun. It's down to earth stuff.
Yeah, it is. So growing up with 5 brothers, I have 2 daughters of my own, 2 sons, 2 daughters, and it is totally different. It's a completely different experience. But you have 2 sons. One
son, 1 daughter.
1 son, 1 daughter.
4 years apart.
Did you want more?
At first, yes. My husband and I, because he was an only child and I was an only child, we said we're going to have 6 kids. We don't want to ever have our children to be alone like we were.
Mm-hmm.
After the second one, we looked at each other and said, I don't want any more. What about you? He said, no, not me either. That was it. That was the 2.
Yeah, I don't blame you. We looked at each other that way too after our first 2, but I don't know. Somehow 2 more ended up on the table. That's cool though. And now they're 50. You said 51.
My daughter, 54.
54.
Yeah.
What's that like having like adult children?
Oh, my daughter is my best friend.
Really?
Oh, 100%.
That's cool.
She must call me 1 to 2 times a day.
Really?
and she works for Bass Pro Shop.
Uh-huh.
And so, ideal place because she gets discounts.
All
of course,
right,
all the boys go to Bass Pro Shop down in Macon. But she calls me every single day. She was on vacation this past week, and they took the youngest one, who's 12, her and her husband, and still called me every day while they were down there and what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And she got to see her brother. They went down to where my son lives in Fort Pierce, Florida. So
that's cool. How's y'all's relationship changed over the years? Or has it always been what it is now?
My daughter and I know it has not been always. Raising a daughter and teenage daughter, ooh, just wait. Just wait.
I'm bracing myself.
My mother used to say to me, I'm going to put the motherly curse on you. And you're going to have a daughter just like you. Well, it was worse. I wasn't near as bad as my daughter. Are you kidding me? But I knew all the tricks.
Yeah. So you were familiar with her game.
I knew her game. I knew every bit of it.
Yeah.
But my son, he was the good one.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, when I say good, I never, ever had any issues with him.
Mm-hmm.
None.
Yeah. So how is it that your daughter is the one that talks to you twice a day now?
Well, because I guess after she had kids,
she realized,
and a lot of issues that she had in her past, she depended on me.
Mm-hmm.
I always gave my children advice, not because only if they asked. I'm not going to tell you what is right and what is wrong unless you really want my help.
Have you always been that way, like as far as parenting? How has that worked out for you?
Good. Really good.
Yeah.
I think that's why I got the relationship I do with both of my children and my grandkids. It's amazing to me that my grandsons, all of them, contact me all the time.
Yeah.
The one who's 21, I mean, 2 weeks ago, he had off on the weekend. And he called me during the week and he said, hey, Grandma, can I come up for the weekend, me and Annabelle? That's his girlfriend. And I said, for the weekend? And he goes, yeah, we want to come spend the weekend with you.
That's so cool.
So coming up and being able to say, oh, we're going to cook, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And he goes, let's just watch movies.
Mm-hmm.
They enjoy the company. We have fun. We can laugh and have a good time. And I look forward to that because I know what his favorite dessert is.
Right, yeah.
And you want it just like my grandmother would do, you know. And make sure I make banana pudding every time he comes up and I make a tray and it's just for you.
That's so cool.
So you can take it home.
So if you only give them advice when they ask for it, that means that you've had to watch them go through some hard things.
Oh, I have.
How do you keep yourself together while you watch your children deal with something that you know is like really challenging for them?
I don't say, do you want my advice by any means?
Mm-hmm.
But I may say, you know what? This happened to me too. Or, my mother said to me, I would blame it on somebody else and give an example of what I went through.
Yeah.
And say,
I see.
And the oldest grandson is very, very smart. He works now for Coweta Fayette EMC.
Okay.
He's an electrical engineer, very smart.
Cool.
And as I've said to him, just because you're smart isn't going to make you move up the ladder.
Yeah.
I said, I started as a teller, the bottom of the totem pole. And I said, I interviewed at a new bank when I started in 1973 as a teller. And the president of the bank called me and said, you got the job. You know what I said to him? Why did you pick me? He said, because your personality. I love people. So that's what made the customer service.
Exactly.
And the same thing when I was with Bank of America, and I'm going back 20 plus years. Customer service was very important.
Yeah.
Can't say that banking cares about customer service, just like all these other places. I don't care where you go, what fast food restaurant, they're training their people how to work the register or how to order food, but they're not teaching them what customer service is.
How to care for people.
Yeah.
Maybe that's hard to teach. Because it seems like you were kind of born with, you like people.
I like people.
But yeah, the customer service is completely different nowadays.
It is.
I was at a restaurant a few nights ago with my wife, and the server came up and ordered our food, and then a robot came down the aisle
Yep.
and brought our food.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, we're really there.
I know. Amazing.
So tell me more about, I'm curious because I have a 9-year-old and a 7-year-old daughter. I've got an 11-year-old son and a 5-year-old son as well. So I'm kind of in the throes of parenting. But I'm curious, as my daughters, really just as my kids in general, go into their teenage years. I know you mentioned you're kind of more of a hands-off parent when it comes to advice. Give me some advice. Tell me what to do. How do I?
If a parent tells their daughter or son, don't do that,
They're going to do it.
They're going to do it.
Yeah.
And that's a prime example where my mom and dad said to me, you will never ride a motorcycle. Don't you ever get on back of a motorcycle. Well, I did. And I'm at a traffic light on back of a motorcycle with a guy, maybe I was 16. Guess who pulls up?
Your
my
parents.
mother.
It's
My
so
mother.
funny.
So you don't tell them, don't do that.
Because you're going to go and do
Or
it.
you don't tell them, gee, I sure didn't like that guy you brought over.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, because if you tell them that, yeah, I'm definitely going to stay with him, whether I like him or not.
Well, it seems like teenagers are just going to be teenagers.
Yeah.
What were some of the things that, and not to put your daughter out there, but in general, some of the challenging things that you went through with her that kind of made those teenage years?
Well, like most teenagers, they think they know it all.
Right.
They know it all. Don't tell them any differently. When I tell you your curfew is at 11, I mean 11.
Yeah.
And what's the big deal? So what if I got home at 11:15 and then you get in a fight with them because they were late? And now you're not going to take my car again next week.
Right, yeah.
So then you get into a bigger fight.
Yeah.
So, and back then we didn't have cell phones either. So you could call me and tell me where you're at.
Yeah.
You didn't have that back then.
Right.
And I didn't either. But my mother, when I came home from a date and my curfew was 11 o'clock, if my mother was in bed, she made sure I came in, wake her up, and kiss her goodnight, and made sure there was no alcohol in my breath.
Oh, that's smooth. I wasn't expecting that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's good that you have those memories.
I have good childhood memories.
Yeah.
Of my years in Pennsylvania, my years down in Fort Lauderdale, and I have a good life. I retired 10 years ago and from banking.
Yeah. How old are you now?
76. And so Earl had gotten sick, and I was taking care of him. He was in the hospital, in Fayetteville, 6 weeks.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Maybe I did. Was this recent?
No, 10 years ago,
Oh,
2014.
no, I do know that. Yeah.
Yes. And in fact, your mom and dad went to see him.
Yeah.
And Gloria in Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
And he had an open wound. I had to clean it every day. And the nurses at Fayetteville Hospital were spectacular. All my doctors are at Fayetteville, Piedmont.
Yeah, Piedmont, Fayette, yeah.
I mean, I have the best.
That's where most of our kids were born.
Yeah. I wouldn't change that.
Yeah.
And if I was to say I'm going to move, I can't move from here because, my doctors are here and I love them all.
Yeah.
And they're all in the hospital. So you get to know them. And even if I don't have to go back for a year, I had knee replacement surgery this year, only 5 months ago.
Oh, wow.
And you can't even see my scar.
I can't even tell.
I mean,
and you're walking
Ortho Atlanta.
nice too.
Oh, unbelievable.
5 months ago was crazy.
Yeah, they were excellent. Excellent.
Yeah. So being 76, looking back on all the years that have passed, what is it actually like aging? How would you summarize the aging experience?
Well, I don't look at myself as an old person. That is one thing. I'm young at heart.
Yes, you are.
And I work out. I have to do things to keep me mentally young.
Yeah.
I had a lot of mixed emotions about having my knee replaced, but I built myself up and prepared for it. Gosh, years, really.
Yeah.
It was killing me when I worked out, and I knew I was going to do it this past year after the holidays were over. Once I got my Christmas decorations put away and my house clean, I was ready. So we scheduled it that way.
No kidding.
And most people, they were using a walker for 2 weeks later. I was driving a car 2 weeks later.
Of course you were.
I used a walker maybe 2 to 3 days.
No kidding.
That was it.
Maybe all your exercise prior to that prepares you for your quick recovery.
It does. Yeah, it does. You got to build those muscles up.
Exactly, yeah.
As much as pain that it was, I did stop.
That's good.
Yeah.
So,
but I don't feel old.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that I had the opportunity to live 76 years already.
Yeah, yeah. And in good shape and being vibrant and being able to recall memories and
Earl says to me all the time, he says, you're going to outlive us all.
Yeah.
And he'll tell people, he'll say, she's not going anytime soon because God said there's only one God. He doesn't want another God who's up there trying to rule everybody. And they'll say, oh, that is so bad you to say that.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So last question. I'm curious, as a 33-year-old young man, the world is very interesting right now. We could get into a whole nother conversation.
Very interesting. You're right.
Because we are in the middle of an election year. So things get crazy. But just in general, considering the times that we're living in, you having experienced some tough times yourself, I'm sure. What advice would you give for somebody who's young, who's trying to build a life for themselves, a family, and just kind of going through this confusing time and wondering where to go next?
First of all, family is, I would say, first. Yeah. But actually, it's God who's first.
Yes.
You got to keep that spirit going and, instill that into your children because our world is so torn. And people have left churches.
Yeah.
My church, I'm the administrator of our church and the treasurer of our church.
Oh, wow.
And it's been around since the 1850s.
Oh, wow.
Right up here, Lovejoy United Methodist Church. We're down to hardly any people coming. But it's not just our church that's losing people. They are sitting in front of TVs and watching preachers on TV.
Oh, right, yeah.
I don't think that's the same. That's me personally. Sure, they may give a good sermon, but there's nothing like going into church with stained glass windows, reading, singing hymns, and feeling the Spirit of God.
Nothing can replace doing something in person.
No.
I agree.
And so if you put him first and let your children see that he is first, not please don't ever let them think any differently.
Yeah.
And then your family, and the same thing with moms and dads, that you see all these things on Facebook that say, you're getting older, don't turn your back on your mother or your father. You got to remember sometimes you forget things. Even my 23-year-old grandson will say, Grandma, you just told me that the other week. All right, so what? I'm telling it to you again. I thought it was a pretty good story.
Yeah.
So, you're not supposed to make fun of these older people. And then sometimes I'll get off the phone with some of the church members. They're always calling me every day. And one day, just this past week, I got off the phone with one of them. And I made a remark to her. These people in our church are nothing but a whole bunch of old biddies. And she said, Georgine, you're just as old as us. I went, oh, that's right. I shouldn't have said that. I'm sorry.
Well, that's because you're young in spirit and in mind. So God and family are the most important thing. Because I guess like at the end of the day, you could accumulate all the things, all the wealth. But I mean, even over just this conversation, what you seem most proud of is your relationship with God and your family. Having grandkids that still call you, want to come and spend the night with you, that's precious.
Yeah. And, just like I was telling you before we had this interview, there was a homeless woman. She was a squatter in one of our homes in Locust Grove. And Earl got the phone call someone's living in one of our homes. No power, no water. And he jumps in the truck, goes down there, thinks he's going to have a hard time. And this woman is 53 years old. She was taking care of the elderly woman that was living in that house. And they moved away and left her there. No vehicle, no money, no power, nothing.
Wow.
No food for a week. Earl put her in the truck with her dog, and he took her and found a motel in Griffin, took her there and paid for her room for 3 nights.
No kidding.
After that, we didn't hear from her, but a couple nights later, Earl got a text and it said, Mr. Earl, I need you. I'm living behind the Marathon gas station in Griffin in the woods.
No way.
Every day I went up and down 1941 trying to find her.
Yeah.
Because we were remodeling the townhouse up here in Jonesboro. I said, Earl, if we could just get her in there while this remodeling is done, we'll give her the responsibility to take care of everything, clean it up because it was a disaster. And she'll have water and electric, and I'll put a blow-up mattress. I'll give her some of my clothes. And he said, fine, we'll do that.
That's so nice.
So I kept trying to find her. I even went behind the Marathon gas station, and people said to me, you went even in the woods behind there? I went, yeah, calling her name. I knew her name.
You were in the back of a gas station yelling somebody's name.
And they said, weren't you afraid? I said, no. You know why? Because when it's my time to go, it's my time to go. Well, the funny part is that almost 2 weeks later, after church, I'd get in my car and go down there. One of the church members called me and said, Georgine, I think I found your homeless woman.
Oh, wow.
I said, you did? She goes, yeah, she's in the woods behind Atlanta Motor Speedway. I jumped in my car. I went down there, and I went to a little wing place that's over across the street there. Went in there, didn't know the owner of that wing place, nothing. And I said, can I ask you a stupid question? And he said, sure, I love stupid questions. I can give you a stupid answer. I said, did you know you have a homeless woman living in the woods back here? And he said, no. I said, yes, I can see her from 1941. He said, do you want me to go with you? I said, that would be nice. And he took my hand, and we walked through the woods.
That's nice.
We startled her, but he was so nice. And he said, I bet you're hungry, aren't you? And she said, yes, sir. I've been walking for 4 months from Florida. I want to get to Atlanta to get on a Greyhound bus.
Walking from Florida?
Yeah.
Wow.
It wasn't my homeless woman. It was a different one.
Wow.
He said, I will make sure you have food and cold drinks until you're ready to leave again.
Wow.
And he did.
That's nice.
That wasn't my woman. So I guess it was maybe the next day or the day after. I went back down 1941 and I went to the motel where Earl put her to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, my husband paid for a room 2 weeks ago. I said, have you seen her lately? Because the Marathon gas station's next door.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, as a matter of fact, she's staying here. I said, what do you mean she's staying here? He said, well, we give our employees, the maintenance men, a room free.
Okay.
And so he took her in.
Yeah, and gave her a job.
Well, he didn't get, no. The maintenance guy,
maintenance guy
just
took her in.
in.
That was very nice.
Yeah. So I said, I would like to meet her.
Yeah.
And so they called his room. She came up, she hugged me and kissed me. I never met her.
Yeah.
Didn't even know what she looked like.
Yeah.
And I said, I have a deal for you. And so she said, can I bring my dog? And I heard from Earl how sweet this dog was.
Yeah.
And so she went back, got her dog, some belongings. I had my whole trunk of my car already loaded with air mattress, pillows, sheets, food for the day I found her.
Yeah.
And drove her up to Jonesboro and settled her in.
No kidding.
And
she's
you
still
know
there?
what? She's there. You should see this place.
It's nice.
As Earl said, I never thought I'd say the day how beautiful this place is.
Yeah.
And she now has a full-time job at the dry cleaner.
Look at that.
She walks all the way from Flint River Parkway. She has walked 8 miles down to the Pavilion Shopping Center.
Wow.
She walks everywhere. She doesn't have a vehicle. But now she's on disability.
Mm-hmm.
She has anxiety. And but she got a job.
Yeah.
At a dry cleaner that they took her in, and she's already on her own.
Good for her. Dang.
And then I found another woman who's 75. She was living in a home out in Ola, one of our old church members, with a bunch of men.
Mm-hmm.
And she was looking for a place. I moved her into the townhouse. Me and 2 other 80-some-year-old ladies moving somebody all one day. I don't know who was going to have the heart attack first. And we moved her into the townhouse with this homeless one, Hope. Her name isn't, boy. She is a blessing. I mean, she walked with her dog in one arm and Bible in the other.
Wow.
And they're sharing expenses. They pay their rent before it's due.
How often do you get a chance to help someone like that and it actually work out that way? That's great.
Well, everyone says, Georgine, you do so much.
Yeah.
You have gained so many wings.
Yeah.
I said, but it's not enough because I can't fly away yet.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. You've got more wings to gain.
I do.
Well, that's a chapter in your book for sure.
Yeah. Yes.
Do you want to have any final remarks? Anything you want to share?
This has been enjoyable, really.
Cool.
Very
Thanks.
much so.
Well, thanks for joining me.
Well, thank you very much.